to the channel. It is your girl Lana Simone. So first of all, I wanted to welcome you guys in. I hope you are having an amazing day. So today we're going to get right into the video. We are going to be talking about, can life get easier? Will my life get better? I think this is a question that a lot of people have, especially my generation. Like, sometimes, we feel like our life is just so hard and that our life is anything going to get better in our life? And I think, we get to a point where sometimes a lot of people feel like, life is just not even worth living. It's just like, we get so overcome with our emotions and our feelings that sometimes, unfortunately what has been happening is a lot of people have been committing suicide and, really ending their life because they feel like life won't get better from their current situation. And so today I just wanted to encourage you to know that life does get better. We want to make sure that, first of all, we need to recognize that oftentimes our feelings are temporary. Sometimes we feel happy, sometimes we feel sad, sometimes we can feel sadness for a longer period of time, sometimes we can feel happiness for a longer period of time. But one thing about our emotions is that they are temporary and they fluctuate every single day. And so when we recognize that, we realize that in the moments that we feel very discouraged, in the moments where we feel very depressed, in the moments where we feel high anxiety, in the moments where we feel just very overcome with life and our emotions, we recognize that we need to recognize that, things don't last always. And so, I know there's been so many times in my life that I've had seasons and times where I really felt like life wasn't going to get any better. I felt like depression was taking over me. I felt like anxiety was taking over me. I felt like suicidal thoughts was taking over me, and I really felt like life wasn't going to get any better. And when you entertain those thoughts a lot, and that's, when a lot of times, those suicidal thoughts can come up, and the thoughts of feeling like your life is just not going to get better. And so really, we need to come to a point where we figure out ways to be able to move past that, because we want to prevent, the rate of suicide. We want to prevent the rate of people, killing themselves and stuff like that. At least I do. I really care about my generation. I care about just people in this world. And I recognize that a lot of young people and people in general didn't have to die or didn't have to end their life so soon. But unfortunately it happened. And unfortunately they got to a point where they felt like their life didn't matter anymore. They felt like life wasn't going to get better, and unfortunately their emotions and what they were feeling took over them, and unfortunately that ended in them leaving this earth. And it's sad to think about, because I get teary-eyed oftentimes when I see posts, especially, it affects me more when it's my generation. Anybody who dies, it affects me, but it's usually when it's my generation, it brings tears to my eyes, because you recognize that there was so much potential left in these people. There was so much, more that God had planned for their lives. And it's so sad that what happened was, they got to a point where they got so depressed, they got so overwhelmed with their life, and they felt like they couldn't live anymore. And so, I think it hits me more because I've dealt with thoughts of suicide. I've dealt with things like that in my life. And I'm very open with people with that, because I want people to know that it's real, and I want people to recognize that I am human and that we all go through things. And that's why I share things like that with people. And I share it because I want to help encourage and help someone. Especially, if you struggle with things, you want to speak up about it because you don't know who it will help. And so this is one thing I've struggled with, in my life. And so that's why I speak up about it, because I want to help bring forth a change, especially in this area of life. And so one of the things that has helped me push past that is, first of all, like I always say in anything, the biggest help I experience in my life is from God. And how important I need my generation to recognize the importance of having a relationship with God. Because in times where you feel overwhelmed, in times where you feel like life won't get better, in times where you feel like it's just the end, He is the one you can lean on in those times of need. God is the one who has saved me. And anytime, I've had thoughts of suicide or anything like that, He is the one ultimately who has saved me, and has kept me on this earth. Yes, you have people around you that, want to help you and all that stuff, but only God knows how I truly feel on the inside. Only God knows how I truly feel in my heart and in my mind, and what thoughts go through my mind each and every day. And so only God is the one really who can help me push past those thoughts when they try to come up, push past, the heavy depression when it tries to come up. Only God can. And I recognize in my relationship with Him, knowing how important it is to have Him, because He helps me, especially in situations like that. And so I wanted to share with my generation so you guys recognize that as well. Anybody who deals with, suicidal thoughts, anybody who deals with depression heavy, anybody who deals with anxiety, anything, know that we need to start working and making sure that we have a relationship with God. We need to make sure that we start, allowing Him into our life, and allowing Him to transform our life, and allowing Him to guide and lead our life. Because we get oftentimes so depressed and so weighed down because we're trying to figure out life on our own. We're trying to surround ourselves with people that we're not supposed to be surrounded with. We're trying to fit into a crowd that we're not supposed to fit into. And we're trying to live a life that we're not supposed to live. And why? Because we choose to usually try to figure out our own way, and we think that we don't need God, or sometimes people don't even know about God and know that it's important to have Him. So that's why we, just live life and try to figure it out, and then we feel so down, we feel so depressed, we feel so anxious all the time because we have no direction. We have no one who's truly leading and guiding us on a straight path. And so recognizing today the importance of having God in your life, and knowing that He can make your path straight, and that He knows the plans that He has for you. He knew us before we were even born, before He even formed us in our mom's womb. He knew each and every one of us by name, and He knows each and every one of us by name. So recognizing that and connecting with Him each and every day is very important, especially when we feel like life won't get better, and life gets very overwhelming with some of the things that we do. So that's one thing that has helped me. Also exercising, and just creating positivity somehow in your life. In seasons that have been very, very depressing for me, or where I felt like there was no end, I recognized and learned how to start creating joy into my life, creating happiness into my life. Yes, sometimes it may be hard, because sometimes you're so depressed, you're so weighed down by your emotions, you don't want to do anything but sleep all day, or you don't want to do anything but cry all day, and stuff like that. But you have to really push yourself to get up. You got to push yourself to do something. And so for me, sometimes I've now figured out ways, if I get to points like this, I'm like, okay, we're not going to stay stuck. Some days I might have days where I'm crying or something like that, but I'm like, we're not going to stay stuck. We're going to get up. We're going to, some things that make me happy is singing and listening to music. Another thing that I've found very therapeutic for me has been walking. Sometimes I just need to get out and walk and just have silence and just allow nature and the sun to kind of fill me up. Talking to God often and expressing how I feel, listening to praise and worship music, praying, doing different stuff. Sometimes even if you have people in your life that, are more positive, reaching out to them to be like, I need to get out the house. Can you take me somewhere? Stuff like that. But you got to be open with people and expressing, start building friendships around you that you can express your true feelings and that they're genuinely there to help you. But sometimes you don't have friends and people that will help you. So learning how to create joy for yourself and inviting that into your life so that you can get yourself out of this dark situation, because you don't have to give up. You don't have to quit. You don't have to die. And I need you to know that. I need somebody to know that. Somebody who may be contemplating suicide even as I'm speaking. You don't have to die. You don't have to give up. You are still needed on this earth. You may feel like your life is over. You may feel like there is no end in sight to your current situation, but let me tell you, there is always light at the end of the tunnel. And you may not be at the end yet, but you're on your way. And you're going to get there by continuously pushing forward, putting one foot in front of the other, and you're going to make it through. You're going to make it to the end. I need you to know that. I need you to know that. It may not feel like it right now, but you will make it through. You will make it through. And so, recognizing that, knowing that it's okay to feel down sometimes, but you got to push past that because there will be better days ahead. What depression does and what anxiety does and what the enemy does is come in our minds and come in our situations and make us feel like it's the end, that this is the end, and that there's no hope, there's no future, there's nothing else for me to live for. And that's why people decide to end their life. But today I want to let you know that you don't have to do that if you're struggling with that. Today I want you to know that there is more to live for, that God has more for your life, just like He has more for mine. And each day I got to push through. I want to encourage somebody else to push through as well. One foot in front of the other is what gets you to the light at the end of the tunnel, because let me tell you, there is light. Let me tell you, I've been in some dark seasons in my life to where I could have threw in the towel long ago. But I've kept on going. One foot in front of the other. Trusting and believing God every step of the way. So I wanted to encourage somebody else to do the same. Because your life matters. You matter. And sometimes the enemy fights certain people so much because he sees what's on the other side. He knows that God is going to use you in a mighty way to open your mouth and testify of the goodness of God in your life when you come out of this season. He knows that you're going to impact somebody. He knows that you're going to, even with your testimony, save somebody else's life. And He doesn't want that. And so oftentimes what He does is He tries to get us so down and make us feel so depressed to where we quit. To where and what happens when we quit, when we're no longer here? We can no longer be used by God. We can no longer speak and open our mouth and help encourage somebody else to make it through. We can no longer see what God saw all along for our life. And it's to prosper us, to give us a hope, to give us a future. And it's to bring us to an expected end. And we never get to see that if we choose to listen to the lies of the enemy, to believe that our life doesn't matter and that we don't matter and that this is the end. But let me tell you today, this is not your end. God has so much more in store for your life that you couldn't even imagine. But today, in days to come, you gotta find it within yourself to keep on going, to push past this dark season, this season to where, life is not easy. Sometimes life is going to be hard. That's a part of life. But let me tell you, better days do come. For me, I'm so glad that, first of all, I'm still here and alive, and that I've continued to keep on going despite how I felt in life. And I can tell you that better days do come. Being in some of the darkest seasons in my life, to where I felt like there was no hope, I felt like this was the end. The enemy was really, feeding in my mind this was the end. If I would have listened to those thoughts, I wouldn't have experienced the love and the joy and the blessings and everything that God has brought into my life now. And I wouldn't have gotten to see the things that I get to see now. And for that, it's just crazy. Because what happens, our emotions will weigh us down to the point where it'll block us from even seeing past, in our future. Like, it blocks us from seeing past our current situation and not recognizing, if we push past that, what God is preparing for us, what God is planning for us. And so oftentimes people's destiny is cut short because they get so discouraged in these seasons when life gets hard, and they never get to see the new season that God has for them and was preparing for them all along. So today I just wanted to encourage somebody. If you have felt like if you may be feeling like you're about to give up, you may be contemplating, ending your life even today. Like, I don't know what people be going through, but let me tell you, don't do it. You are worth something. You have something to offer to this world. God desires to use you to help bring glory to his name and to help make an impact and change on this world. So today I encourage you to keep on going. Today I encourage you to keep moving forward. Today I encourage you to know that you're not all alone. You're not the only one who feels discouraged at times. You're not the only one who feels depressed at times. We all feel these emotions. But the difference with, other, people who push past it, the only difference is, you have to just push past it. You can't let it take you down. It doesn't matter how hard it gets, because let me tell you, life can get down on you hard. But the thing is, when you have God and you lean on him for strength, he is what helps you make it through these seasons in your life where you feel down, depressed, like life is just hard and it's not going to get better. He is the one who can give you strength to make it to the end. So lean on him today. Invite him into your situation today, and know that he is there in our time of need. He is there in the times that we feel weary, that we feel like we lost all hope. He is there to lean on. And he even sends people to help encourage you, to make you and let you know and remind you that you can make it through. So today I pray that I really, encourage you today in some way. I pray that this video helps you in some way, and I pray that you can keep on going. We're going to continue to fight. We're going to continue to push past, seasons of depression, seasons of feeling down. We're going to move forward and recognize that our life is worth it. Our life is important, and that God has so much more in store for each and every one of us. So be encouraged today. Know that I'll be praying for you. Know that I always pray for my generation, because I believe that God, there is still hope for my generation, and I believe that. And I will never stop believing that. And I will always come on this platform. Ooh, I'm getting a little emotional. I always will come on this platform to stand up and bring hope for my generation, and to let each and every one of us know that there is still hope, and that God still loves each and every one of us, and he cares for each and every one of us, and he desires for us to be saved. He desires for us to spend eternity with him. He hasn't forgotten us. The world may have counted us out, but God still counts us in. And he still wants to help bring restoration and bring forth change in my generation. And I will continue and always continue as long as I'm alive and on this earth, and God gives me the strength to be able to come and talk to you guys, I will always do my best to encourage and help make a change the best I can. So I hope that this video encouraged somebody. I hope that it helps somebody. And I hope and pray that you know that my generation, that we have more to live for and that God desires more for our life. So recognize that today and go forth knowing that you are loved, that you are worthy, and that you are on God's mind constantly, each and every day. And he's thinking about you. Just like he thinks about me, he thinks about each and every one of you. So recognize that and know that you're not forgotten. You're not too far gone for him to come and bring you back home to him. You are worthy of his love. So receive it today. So you guys, I thank you so much for being here, and I will see you guys in the next video.